Okay, so for those who don't know, Resident Evil and Dead by Daylight are having a crossover announced next week. It was announced at the last Resident Evil showcase before Village's launch. It was one of the things they announced because of the anniversary of the game, and this is something that people have wanted for a long, long time, especially me. I'm a big fan of Resident Evil, a massive fan actually, and I played Dead by Daylight quite a lot. It's a lot of fun, especially with friends. And I think the crossovers they do in that game are already amazing. Like, you know, you got Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and stuff like that. It's all really, really cool. And to finally have my favorite game series coming to the game is really exciting. And it's definitely something I want to be playing when it comes out. But on the internet, there is a lot of questions as to who it is going to be. Like, who's going to be the killer? Who's going to be the survivor? And there's a lot of different people it could be. Especially in the earlier games in the series. But no one knows for sure yet. Obviously, all will be revealed next week. So until then, we're going to go through some ideas that I have personally of who I think it might be. I'm sure other people have said these too because they are the most likely bunch. And I'm not going to do this in any order of which I think is most likely and which I think is least likely. These are just the ones I think would best suit the game. So without further ado, let's jump into the first idea I have and see how that would be integrated into Dead by Daylight nice and easy. So first up, we have Mr. X, or the Tyrant, and Leon. I feel like this would be a good option. Obviously, Leon is a well-known character and, you know, is loved by fans of the game. And Mr. X, or the Tyrant, you know, from the RE2 remake and, you know, the original RE2, is a good known character. There's a lot of different versions of the character over the course of the game. Obviously you can see from the art in the background. This is taken straight from the 2 remakes concept art files. Obviously it starts out in the trench coat and the hat, and then later in the game it comes back and it's like the super ripped one-arm claw monster that you see now. And I feel like that would be really good, especially that version of him rather than the trench coat version, because most killers in Dead by Daylight have a weapon. I don't think any of them use their bare hands and stuff like that. So the Tyrant, in his normal form, just punch you. So he doesn't really have a weapon. And then obviously on the more mutated version of him, his whole arm is like a claw arm, which, you know, does make a lot more sense. If they were going to give him the character, it would be that version, because he technically has a weapon, so to speak. In terms of his abilities and stuff, I'm not too sure what they could do. He's a lot like other Tyrant enemies from Resident Evil, so they're all kind of, in a way, similar, like these unstoppable monsters that take more than just a pistol to kill. I don't really know how they could really, like, integrate some perks into those characters. They could obviously make them so that, you know, they're harder to break free of, or they recover from missed hits faster or something like that. I don't know. Or recover from flashlights faster. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just winging it with that. Tyrant's a difficult one to get abilities down with. In terms of Leon though, Leon in Resident Evil 2 is a first day cop. Like, it's his first day on the job. So it's like a rookie cop. But obviously, you know, throughout the events of the game, he does survive, you know, basically the zombie apocalypse on his first day. So there's plenty of perks and reasons why he could be a really good survivor. And of course, you know, Leon, again, iconic character. People love Leon. You know, Resident Evil 4, just, if you haven't played Resident Evil 4, or at least heard someone say how good that game is, then you'll know that Leon's like one of the most loved characters in the series. And even in 6, you know, like, 6 is not the most liked game. I personally think Leon's campaign is the best one, purely because it's more like the original games than the others. But that is my first idea for the game, and we'll get straight into number 2 right now. Okay, next up we have William Burke himself. This one, just by looking at it, looks more like a good suit from the game already. Not only does he have the, you know, the pipe in his hand, which again, you know, every Daylight killer has a weapon of some sort. But his design and his height also does kind of work really well with the game. Most of the killers in the game are usually like person height. You know, the Tyrant is a bit bigger than the person, but he's just a mutated dude. And there's a lot of ways they could deal with him really. That version specifically is probably the best one, because obviously near the end of the game he kind of turns into a bit of a big monster rather than a mutated person. But yeah, look at the ideas already. You've got the crowbar in his hand as a weapon. You could make it so that his eye on his arm is like the flashlight point. Obviously his head is kind of out of function, and the virus is kind of took over his body in a minute. So, you know, his eye would probably be the weak spot to go for. That would obviously make it a massive target, but you know, you have plenty of ways you can make him better because of that. Obviously, he might have a better sight of survivors, you know, because of his massive eye. You know, he's probably got a way of finding people more easily. His obsessions, obviously, because throughout the main game, he's trying to save his daughter, and who else is with his daughter? You got Claire. Claire could be the survivor quite easily. Obviously Claire's campaign is very different to Leon's in terms of Burke being in it, because I think Leon, you don't really see Burke until the end, and that's just when he's on the big monster on the train. I think maybe you fight him as Leon. I'm not 100% sure. I remember. I haven't played 2 Remake in a while. I think you do. I think the final form Burke boss is always there for both of them. But with Claire, he's there throughout the entire game, and he does stalk Claire a lot. So you can have plenty of obsession perks there that'll be good for him. I'm not going to try and, you know, predict what they're going to be, but you know, I feel like Birkin's just how looking at him, he would be really, really good for the game. And obviously, you know, that would come with Claire, because she's the character you play as when he's around. And you know, again, this is more, you know, the iconic characters. People love Claire. Like, you know, you got Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica, which people love. So Claire would make a really good fit, because she's not like a cop. She's not Chris, you know, she's not like a soldier. She's just a woman trying to survive. The only reason she goes to Raccoon City in the first place is to find Chris. So she's not really any kind of soldier or cop like Chris and Leon. So Claire would make a really good suit. And of course, you know, they're both from the RE2 remake. So if it was either of those, the map, I don't know about the map specifically. It could be RPD, and they could add like an outside courtyard area. That would be really cool. Or it could just be the streets of Raccoon. But I do feel like RPD would be the best map if they're going to do Resident Evil 2 characters, because it's when like a good percentage of the game is. A thought has crossed my mind that they could just make a map in the Umbrella Labs, because there's a lot of those in those games. The end of 3 remake and the end of 2 remake, you're in an underground lab. So you know, you got tight corridors and stuff like that there already. So they could also do that. But I do feel like, you know, if you're really gonna go for like nostalgia, then RPD is gonna be like a really good map to play in for all those characters. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the next character now. Okay, so next up, this one I do not think is likely at all. But in terms of getting the game attention, this would be insane if they did it. This is obviously Lady Demotress and Ethan from Resident Evil 8. We all know how the internet reacted when Lady Demotress was first announced. You know, people went crazy, and people are still going crazy, like even after the game's out. Like, have you seen the mods people are making for this game? It's ridiculous. People love the character, and you know, Ethan is like this whole thing. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil anything from Village because I'm not about to do that. That's a whole different video that is coming soon. Subscribe for that, by the way. It's gonna be interesting. But Ethan's a good character. Like, people, when he was first introduced in 7, people didn't really like him. He wasn't really anything going on with him. He was just a dude. But because of the events of the story in 8, people love him now. People think he's one of the best characters in the game. That's not me lying. That's people. I've seen people everywhere on the internet saying Ethan is one of their favourite characters in the series, just because of 8, which is insane. Yeah, Ethan would be really good. Again, he's just a dude. Especially in 7, he's just a dude. I say in 8, he has military training, but in 7, my guy's just a guy looking for his wife. That's it. There is some really good ideas for abilities for Ethan that I can think of. Again, can't really go into it because of Village spoilers, but there's potential it could be really good as a survivor if they pick Ethan. And then going on to Lady Demotress, You would argue that she doesn't have a weapon in her hand, but if you've played the game and played the demo, her hand is a weapon. It has like extendy fingers, so it's like knives. So there's your weapon right there. It would be really cool as well to see a really tall character in Dead by Daylight, just like walking through the fog in the distance would be really cool. In terms of abilities, I had one idea that would be cool, and that is maybe a passive ability, maybe a special ability, where she can like not really summon her daughters, but like when they're following you through the castle, and they turn into like the bugs and they fly through the doors and stuff. They could like go out and survey the map and try and find someone, and then if interrupted by a door, can you believe it? But yeah, you could get the bugs to kind of like survey the map, and if someone happens to like stumble into the bugs and they start getting like bit by them and stuff, they'll make noise, and that obviously signals to them to a lady where the survivors are. Very, very cool. In terms of special abilities that she could have, there's a plot point in the story that basically suggests that they only drink the blood of male villagers, and all the female villagers turn into like the zombie vampires you see throughout the game. That's in the story. So you could like essentially say she has more of a need to find the male characters, which could be interesting. They could definitely try and figure that out in some way or another. But obviously then the counter would be just don't pick a male dude. But again, if you're gonna race the DLC and it's gonna be her and Ethan's the survivor, they kind of work in tandem with each other. So that will be, I don't know, I think Ethan and her is unlikely, but I might be wrong. People love it, so there's every potential that behaviour do kind of go for that, because at the end of the day, the character's got so much attention, then it's going to get the game attention too. So that is definitely an option. Alright, last but not least is the one that I've probably seen the most interest for and hope for online, and that is Nemesis and Jill. The two most iconic duo in the entire game in terms of good guy, bad guy. Nemesis is an unstoppable machine who doesn't want anything else but to kill Jill throughout the events of 3. His primary purpose is to find her and kill her, because she's a member of STARS, and that's his entire motive, to go around and kill every STARS member that's left alive. And she's like a constant threat to him throughout the entire game. Randomly, especially in the original, randomly walking around and boom, he jumps through a wall at you and doesn't go away. They kind of toned that down in the 3 remake, but he's still like is still like a massive presence throughout the entire game. I don't know what they did to him at the end. People have a lot of questions about why the hell they turned him into like a dog monster at the end of 3 remake, but either way, he's still like a massive presence for Jill, and she has to try and avoid him and take him out at the end of 3. Nemesis has a interesting set of weapons he uses. He has a rocket launcher. He has like a tentacle arm, which I think is ranged. But then again, the thing is with Nemesis, he does punch. And I'm not saying that they're not gonna make him a ranged killer, because you have ranged killers in the game. You got the new one, the Korean guy. I don't remember who that is. You've got the doctor. Is it the doctor? Maybe it's the clown that like throws bottles at people. Like, people have ranged abilities, and also you got the Huntress as well. She's melee and ranged. They all are. So you could do anything. You could give Nemesis carrying a rocket launcher in one hand, tentacle hand in the other. Maybe the rocket launcher doesn't do any damage, but it definitely like disorientates or slows, and then we all whip a tentacle, you're down. Again, he's another Tyrant class, so the unstoppable power of him needs to be in the game in some way, but it needs to not be too OP. In terms of Jill, I have a lot of ideas for Jill that could be good. In 3, they added like a combat roll, essentially, where if you did it at the right time, you kind of roll out of the way, take no damage, and you get some slow motion and stuff to aim. The slow motion thing in Dead by Daylight ain't gonna work, but you could time it so that essentially it's like that one perk that already exists in the game, when you can like kind of dash forward to escape a hit that everyone uses. Essentially that, but a bit different. Well, instead of like pushing you forward, it just kind of rolls you to the side or something like that. And you don't take the hit if you time it right. There is also a passive for Jill that I think would be good. It's kind of based on a meme. There's a line in, I don't know what that is. There's a line in the original Resident Evil that basically calls her the master of unlocking, and that has a lot of interest for me for Dead by Daylight purpose. Like, you can make it so that she can open chests a lot faster than anyone else. You can even make it as OP as you can open the exit hatch that appears when you're last man standing. Like, when it appears but it's not open yet, and you need a key to open it, she can just do it. Like, that could be ridiculously broken, obviously, but we've seen perks in the past in Dead by Daylight that are busted as fuck. There is other things as well. They could even change the line from Master of Unlocking to Master of Unhooking. I thought of that. That might be pretty cool. Where she has a better chance of unhooking teammates. Maybe it's a bonus for doing it, or maybe the unhooked person gets the bonus for doing it. And then that's all I can really think of. You're not going to give her a gun, are you? So it's not really anything there. But there's a lot of interest and a lot of things you could do with her perks, and people love Jill. You know, I think Jill's great too. She's a really good character in this series. I'm surprised she hasn't turned up in 7 or 8 yet, but I'm kind of banking on she's going to appear in 9. I just have a suspicion. If Chris is there, then she's got to be somewhere. Like, they're partners. They've been partners throughout the entire series. They have to be in it together at some point. But that's just me. That's just me hoping, probably. We still haven't seen any other characters apart from Chris yet, so you never know. But that about wraps it up. These have been like 4 suggestions or ideas I think will happen. Obviously, time will tell. We'll know next week. I am super looking forward to it either way. Like, no matter who it is, I'm kind of biased towards it. Like, I love it because huge fan of the series, obviously. And I can't wait to see what they do. But if you guys have any other ideas of who you think it might be, do let me know, because the conversation is massive at the minute, and it's just, I'm excited to see it. And in terms of what I do believe is most likely, I do think it will be Nemesis and Jill, because they're just such an iconic pairing that it just makes the most sense. And I do think the likeliness of it being, you know, village characters is very, very low, because this crossover's probably been in planning phases for so long, and you know they're finally ready to show it. I just don't think they would have discussed it when Village was announced. I feel like it would have happened a little bit before then, so they didn't really know what Village was going to be. But I could be wrong. They could have just done it from the beginning. You know, we might see Lady Demotress in Dead by Daylight. Who knows? But anyway, that's going to be it. This video went on for a while, and I hope everything made sense, and I'm sorry for the weird interruptions of the door and then whatever that was outside. But I'm getting used to doing this face cam stuff, and talking on camera is not my specialty, so I apologise, but I'm getting better. I've done it for the past couple of videos, so I'm gonna roll with it. But yeah, anyway, leave a like if you enjoy, let me know who you think it's going to be down in the comments, and subscribe if you are new for some more Resident Evil videos, or Dead by Daylight videos, or anything along that genre. Like, I feel like that's what I really want to do on YouTube now, so I'm sticking with it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.